If you ask most people what they think about their cars, they'll probably tell you something about monthly payments, their fuel economy, or they'll just go off on how they just hate parking or traffic or both. What they probably won't tell you is how it drives. This guy probably doesn't know what performance tires his Prius needs to get a better autocross time. She definitely isn't thinking what exhaust she should put on her Ford Fusion, and this guy doesn't think about cars at all because his daily driver is a Bird scooter. But this guy, well, this guy says he loves driving cars, but I'm not so sure. If you haven't figured it out yet, this is me. I'm also narrating this video, which makes editing myself twice double annoying, but I digress. For the longest time, I've been a car guy, and I've had some pretty awesome cars over the years. But one thing was always missing. I never drove them. Well, not really. Daily driving is okay and track days are fun, but I'm talking about the kind of drive that beats you up day after day after day, and you keep on coming back for more because it teaches you something profound about yourself, about the machine you're driving, and okay, I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Let's start at the beginning.
How's it going, guys? My name is Tavares, and behind me is a 2008 Lexus ISF. And it's not just any Lexus ISF. This one has 200,000 miles on it. It is the cheapest one in the country. And today we are about to take it on the mother of all road trips. This is a momentous occasion. It's a really, really special day because I get to do the thing that I've been wanting to do for a very long time, which is actually drive a car. I am gonna be in this car for the next 5 days, but I'm not gonna be alone. I have this giant over here. His name is Jared, and he's actually a viewer, subscriber, and we got to talking about my super build. He helped me out. He actually works at Speed for Sale, and he helped me out with the super build, and we actually became fast friends and decided that we would take his car to this Dust Ball rally. Now, this car has around 200,000 miles on it. You have done some modifications to this car.
Yeah, so I brought it home. Obviously got it at a good deal. Didn't bother to tell the wife that on the third day I'd ordered basically every performance part you can. It's got the PPE header package, RR Racing, tuned intake, carbon fiber intake elbow. It has a custom, it was made by an exhaust shop, twin muffler, or twin exhaust setup that had the wrong mufflers on it. So I tracked down some Borla mufflers and put factory quad tips, because if you have an ISF, you've got to have the silly stacked exhaust tips.
So obviously this car is a little bit modified, and you can see right off the bat it has some really cool LED taillights, and it is slammed. At least it looks like it's slammed, because this is only a ½ inch drop from stock. So even though this looks like it's tucking a lot of tire, it's actually not that bad, and it handles beautifully. Oh yeah. So this is the reason why the ISF is the ISF. This is a 5-liter direct injected and also port injected V8, making around 416 horsepower in stock form. This one is not exactly stock, has some carbon fiber goodies right here, has a carbon fiber airbox with the gold tape. I do approve of that, but this is an awesome engine. It has a revised oil pump to make sure that it can keep up with oiling in those really twisty bits. It's very good at doing 0 to 60 launches, and it's very good at doing top speed. So this is a perfect car to bring to something akin to a long drive, maybe a cruise, maybe even a rally.
So before anyone gets the idea that Tavares just wants people to go on some rich guy rally to show the country how rich they are while doing highway speeds between Instagram breaks, that's not what I'm doing at all. That's not what this is. I was invited to take part in the Dust Ball. It's a gimmick rally from Boston, Massachusetts, all the way to New Orleans, Louisiana, over 5 days. Oh, and it's also on the country's best back roads, mountain passes, and jaw-dropping natural desktop backgrounds. And for every unobtainium supercar with a million billion horsepower, there's an Econobox built to take corners, or a rental, well, that's actually being used as a rental. But Jared's car wasn't even that. It was a very well-used Lexus that no one in their right mind would modify. But at the 12 grand he paid for it, yes, $12,000 for a 414 horsepower super sedan with a Lexus badge on it, it was a lot of car and sounded absolutely, well, listen to it. Yeah, that's really good. So the first leg of the journey took us out of Boston, through Amish, Pennsylvania, and into Philadelphia, which, despite what Doug DeMuro says, is one of the worst cities to own a car. The traffic is garbage, the potholes are horrible. Anyway, the way the Dust Bowl Rally works is that they don't tell you where you're ending up. They just give you directions with no mile markers, so you'll have to pay close attention to each road sign and stay alert for the entire day, which could last as long as, well, until you get there. Actually, I don't have much footage of this portion of the drive because I took the first half of the day, which looked like this, and Jared took the second half of the day, which looks more like this. And I got jealous. After spending the night in Philly and swapping the city backdrop for some landscape that was a little more landscapey, I realized that some of the other rally goers decided to decorate my car while I was asleep. I also made sure to drive the entire day, as Jared agreed to drive the next day in full. A decision that, as it turns out, might not have been so good. Hi, there seems to be water falling from the sky, and it's making driving pretty interesting. So, actually, it's making life in the car pretty interesting.
Yep.
Fun,
Yep.
fun, a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Water en route.
But a funny thing happened. The torrential rain on the mountain road that we were on, it didn't turn into a nightmarish hellscape of death. It actually became one of the best driving experiences I've ever had. After the rain clouds broke, we realized that we were now in the mountains of West Virginia, one of the most desolate and incredibly breathtaking drives in the world. We then ended the drive at a lodge nestled in the mountains and called it a day. By the way, that little diesel Volkswagen Golf thing that you saw in the shots, that guy had no problem keeping up with the Lexus because his mods were on point. It was a total sleeper, and that dude can drive. Shout out to you, Matt. He actually got pulled over for doing 14 over the speed limit on our way back, and he got out of it. Apparently, yeah, that still happens. So this was the first day that Jared drove for the entire day, and it was pretty uneventful. Nothing really to see, except this. And this. Also, this. Our trip took over 12 hours from West Virginia to Greenville, Tennessee, a small town that I'll always remember as having a haunted hotel. The air conditioner makes some scary noises at night, maybe. And a car museum that had the most interesting and eclectic collection of cars with the most unfortunate looking of mannequins. What is that? So the day started out as any on the Dust Bowl. We stand around the lobby of whatever hotel we're staying at, and we wait until our names are called, and we give in the previous day's gimmick answers. Oh, did I not explain what gimmicks are? Yeah, that's pretty important. That's the whole point of this rally.
So let me show you through a day of what it's like going on this rally. It's a little bit different than what you might expect. You hear the cars around you starting up. First, you wake up in a 4 or 5 star hotel. I got a pretty good sleep. And then you get one of these. This is a set of directions and also a set of clues for gimmicks. Now the gimmicks I'll get to in a little bit, but the directions, as you can see, they don't have any mile markers. They don't have any sort of detail at all. It's just up to the navigator. The navigator is very important. I actually have a very good navigator. My navigator is Jared. He's actually the cameraman as well. And it's pretty good that I'm the driver because Jared's a really good navigator. He's better than me, but I'm a better driver than Jared is. Stop. So these directions are split up into D's and G's, D for directions, G for gimmicks, and the gimmicks are actually just like a scavenger hunt. Here's where can you see a California Highway 253 sign? So we know that this is going to be between this direction and that direction. So if we got here, then we're probably going too far. Now the reason why it doesn't have mile markers is so we don't actually know how long the route is, and each route each day has been around 400 to 480 miles. So all in, we're looking at 2,000 miles. Now we are ending in Atlanta. All right, we're ending in Atlanta. So from Tennessee to Atlanta, that's actually quite a big day, especially if we're not taking too much interstate. Now there are a few gimmicks here, you see on the second page, and they are interesting and difficult to get sometimes. Even after we get to the hotel, there are still a few gimmicks. Jared and I have prided ourselves in getting all the gimmicks thus far. They have been a little bit difficult, but we have gotten them, and hopefully we can maybe get a trophy for getting everything, because now we're 100% in. So right now, Jared is putting in everything in his GPS. We're using Waze, Google Maps, and everything we can to make sure that we plot out all these directions. I think we can start the car. Oh yeah.
X-band, K-band, Ka-band, laser, GPS connected.
This is used for speeding, which we are not doing, in case any law enforcement are watching.
Now, I'll level with you a bit. Knowing what I knew about the roads in the area and realizing we were going south for the entire trip, I figured this was probably the best driving day, and I wanted it all for myself. So I made sure that I was behind the wheel when it happened. I didn't tell Jared this, so I hope he forgives me, but Jared lives near these awesome roads and could visit them anytime he wanted, so I don't really feel that bad. In any case, just as I expected, the roads were fantastic. So good that I came across all journalisty. Now, when you're going into these corners blind, it's very important to read the road and not overdrive, because you can get the rear end out if you're too much on the power, which is what I really love about this car. The power band is so linear and it's very, very predictable. And even if you do something like I just did in downshifting on a turn, is this the same guy? Oh no! Oh no! He's probably saying, oh no,
Oh, hey, thank you. Thank you again. Back to the regularly scheduled program. So even if you downshift on a turn or get it sort of out of whack, like I just did, it doesn't really matter all that much because you're not carrying a ton of speed.
Just a lot of technical now.
A lot of technical, yeah. All these are really hard turns. And they're going slightly uphill. I love a good hill climb. You want to make sure you get all your turning, your braking, and downshifting done before the turn. Now, I'm far from a professional driver. All I'm doing is I'm trying to keep the wheels on the bottom of the car and try to keep this on the road. Another thing I really love about this car is that it has way more bolstering than any other Lexus I've ever seen. Now, the road's getting a little bit more rough, and when I put it into these turns, I'm trying to stay in the seat. Now, the bolsters are doing as much as they can possibly do. They're nothing like a real sports seat, but as far as a luxury sport hybrid, this is just perfect. They're comfortable on a long trip, and for something like this, they are exactly what you want. This is getting really tight, guys. I'm gonna have to concentrate. These brakes are squeaking and they're making a lot of noise, but they're stopping the car. There's no fade. Oh my God, I can't imagine what it's like with a more high horsepower car. I'm rethinking bringing my Lamborghini on something like this because that would just be a sort of ungainly animal. And I don't think you need 900 horsepower on a road like this. I think this around 400 to 500 horsepower in a naturally aspirated linear power band is the perfect amount of power. And you want to make sure it's not in a chassis that's too light. I mean, lighter is always better, but you're not always trying to get good track times. You're not always trying to qualify. You just want to have a good time when you're white knuckling it, and I really am. I don't know if you can see my knuckles. They're getting quite white.
Soft right, then you gotta relax a little bit.
Soft right into fence?
Yeah.
But then karma struck back, opened up the skies, and another big downpour began. But that wasn't gonna stop me.
So we're nearing the end of this blast down these mountain roads, and we're going in and out of Tennessee and North Carolina, and we're ending up in Georgia. And I have to say, this car is thoroughly impressing me. I mean, just the way it handles, just the way it can hold power, just the way it has an astonishing amount of grip, and the brakes don't fade and just makes all the right noises. So now I'm in sport mode right now, which makes the throttle a little bit crisper. I have the transmission, the 8-speed automatic, in manual mode, and I'm using the paddles here, and man, it is just a delight. Now, the downshifts aren't as crisp as a dual clutch Mercedes MCT or BMW DCT transmission, but it's damn close. The back end is dancing around a little bit, just trying to get some mechanical grip, but the traction control is doing a really good job at keeping me in the same direction that I intended. This car is amazing, especially for $12,900. It's just, woo! Jared, you did good.
Thank you.
Oh yeah.
At this point, I was really bonding with the car. I was bonding with its owner and the amazing scenery. It was the drive that I've been waiting for. And the fact that a 200,000 mile sedan could make me feel this way with an owner that I just met a few days prior for the first time. It was beyond anything I'd ever hoped for. Everyone needs to do this. So even though this was several hundred miles of driving, this was more of a chill day. There were no gimmicks, and the final route from Atlanta to New Orleans was mostly highway, but that didn't mean that Jared and I didn't take the time to reflect, including a story about one of the gimmicks that we just couldn't get.
So yesterday we had the gimmick.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, so we had the gimmick. This boasts a Rolls-Royce engine.
No, it says, which of these boasts a Rolls-Royce engine? That was the only question in the gimmick. And we went from, we literally went down a road for like an hour and a half, one way, did not find anything. We were scanning everything that we could. And then we decided that we were gonna go all the way back. So we spent a good 4 something hours.
4 hours hunting it.
Yeah, hunting it, and we didn't find it. So we had to come up with a really, really weird theory.
A fantastic theory.
It's a fantastic theory, really, when you think about it. It's logically consistent, but it doesn't really make all that much sense.
So
it's like a Transformers movie, really.
Like, unless they're doing a real good job, it seems nobody found it. But my theory is we passed a monster truck on the side of the road that said "powered by Kitty Cat," and as everyone knows, Rolls-Royce made the Meteor tank engine, which was then purchased by Rover, which was then purchased by Perkins, and then purchased by Caterpillar, and which was a basis for some of their heavy equipment engines. So that truck, monster truck, being powered by a Kitty Cat, 4 steps removed is a Rolls-Royce engine. So that was my theory, and I figured it was these because of the satellite image of that location showed dead grass, like there was a missing truck. So there should have been 2.
So there's a lot of assumptions here, and it didn't. None of that really makes sense, but like, that's the best thing we can. Other than which of these has a Rolls-Royce engine and it's David Chen's car.
Right.
If it's that, then I'm just like that would just make me very angry.
In any case, we made new friends, we saw beautiful parts of the country that ignorant people on the coast think are all worthless flyover states, and we gained an amazing appreciation for the Lexus ISF, even as a really used, super cheap example. Well, I mean, I did. I'm pretty sure Jared already appreciates his own car. I mean, he bought the thing. And after seeing some interesting highway art, we drove into New Orleans, where we stayed at the Ritz-Carlton. A little too fancy for me, but since it's either that or sleep in the car, probably better I stay at the hotel. After a good night's rest and a bit more of late night car decorating, it was time to announce the winners of the gimmick portion of the rally. Now, Jared and I didn't miss any questions on the entire rally, other than that one we sort of made up earlier. But I figured that it probably put us in good standing to win the title, which included free entry into the next big rally in 2019. But seeing as how I'm not really a party person and New Orleans is the wrong city to not be a party person, I made an appearance, I told everyone how awesome the experience was for me, and then I went back to the hotel and just edited some videos. And I left Jared as my surrogate at the party just in case something interesting happened. And for some reason, he also ate the world's hottest chocolate bar and started crying.
Man. That's rough.
What was your favorite road of the trip?
I think my favorite road of the trip was in front of the penitentiary, and then as the passenger, I think all of the mountains through Tennessee and Georgia, those were just fantastic.
Anyway, the winners were called, and
now for the championship gimmick trophy.
Your plaque will be mailed to you.
You get the trophy, but the customized plaque, yeah, it'll be mailed.
Does it have a Rolls Royce engine in it?
Now, we thought this was going to be real close, but it actually wasn't.
Really?
Well, by how many points?
1.
It was 1 point? So the winner of the championship gimmick rally trophy is car number, what was his number? 99, Team Tavarish.
Yeah, I wasn't worried. So here are my takeaways from this 5-day experience. Number 1, above all else, having a positive attitude about everything helps any situation. The mantra for the Dust Ball Rally is no sniveling. And I use that everywhere in life. It's a hard drive. You're in the car for at least 12 hours a day for 5 days straight. It can be rough, it can be tiring, but having a good attitude and having a good friend in the car just makes you forget about anything you might want to complain about. Number 2, the Lexus ISF is so ridiculously good that I want one just to have it. I'd love to do something with that drivetrain. I don't care if it's an automatic or that the BMW M3 makes more power. It's an amazing thing to see a car that has 200,000 miles, regardless of make, do this. Number 3, taking time for yourself when you're under a mountain of work and deadlines. It can really help your mind relax and come up with some new solutions. Seeing the parts of the country that I did, it really opened me up to new encounters, great experiences, and above all, lifelong friends. Figuring things out with a good road and an awesome exhaust noise, to me, is the best sort of therapy. Dust Ball's tagline is find your road. And I think I did. Thanks for watching.